Hello, everybody. Final Rich here with the 10 best albums from 1975. Yeah. I just watched Digital Gramophones, and he said that his list was maybe kind of an obvious list, with the exception of one. I think my list is even more obvious, especially after you get into it a little bit. My number 10 may not be that obvious, but my number 10 is Elton John, Rock of the Westies. It's my favorite Elton John album. It may be his best. Madman Across the Water, maybe better. I don't know. It's all rockers with the exception of the one song, something Ford. I feel like a bullet in the gun of Robert Ford. It's the only Candle in the Wind wanker. And it's actually better than Candle in the Wind. But yeah, this is a really good album. The single was Island Girl. But yeah, my number 10. Best album of 1975. Number 9 was another one that might disappoint people, but it's Art Garfunkel with Breakaway. Definitely my favorite Art Garfunkel album. His next one, Watermark, is also a very good album. I don't know if it will be good enough to make it into the top 10, though. I mean, just because you don't make it into the top 10 doesn't mean it's not a good album. You know what I mean? There can only be 10 top 10s. But yeah, this is a great album. Very kind of a smooth. It's got a definitely sound and groove to it. The only song I really don't like, or I don't think is as good as the others, I should say, is Disney Girls. I think that's a Beach Boys song, if I remember right. That song, it's kind of boring. But yeah, My Little Town, the song he did with Paul Simon, is the single from this. But it starts off with, I Believe When I Fall in Love, It Will Be Forever, the Stevie Wonder song. And I said back in, maybe it was 72, when I did my 10 best 72 albums, I didn't realize that was a Stevie Wonder song, you know. I bought this before I bought the Stevie Wonder album. But I Only Have Eyes for You is the really standout track on this. It is one of the best sang songs ever. Number 7, little change of direction, and it's Aerosmith with Toys in the Attic. This is their third album. It's got very popular songs: Sweet Emotion, Walk This Way, Toys in the Attic to a lesser degree. It's got a raw feel to it. It's a rocker. Really well-written songs. And I just like the rawness to it, especially over their 80s output. But yeah, it's I guess an obvious choice for certain type of fans. But yeah, I think it's a great album. And their next album, Rocks, may even be a better album, you know? Number 7. I had to think about it. It's Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti, a double album. I really like this album. The two records are quite a bit different. The first record, I would say almost all the songs are kind of like they get into a groove and they just continue this groove all the way through the song, you know. It does have the famous Kashmir. I think it finishes side 2 of the first record. The second record, side 3 and 4, is a little more varied, but I do like it. I don't like the very first song on side 3, though, whatever that is called. I'm not going to worry about the song titles. But yeah, I think it's a good album. It's not as good as Led Zeppelin 2, or maybe even their fourth. But yeah, it's maybe their third best, or fourth best, maybe fifth. I don't know. All right. Number 6 is Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks, a return to form, as some may say. I mean, it starts off with Tangled Up in Blue. I remember hearing that on the radio, and I was thinking, man, this is a really good song, you know? Just the words, and yeah. As I've said before, Bob Dylan is a wordy kind of guy. But yeah, this is a really good album. All the way through. And I do have this test pressing, Blood on the Tracks. It was a Record Store Day issue. I guess some of the tracks these are the original tracks recorded in New York. He re-recorded some in Minneapolis, I guess. I guess they're different. I'm not much of a compare guy, you know. I put on a record and I listen to it, you know. But yeah, I'm glad I got this, but I don't know. And that kind of brings up the topic of the audiophile. And apparently on my audiophile video I made a few weeks back, I guess I was right. The audiophiles can't tell the difference between an analog and a digital sourced record. I don't know if you're familiar with the MoFi news. It's making the rounds. All right, that's 5. What would number 5 be? Willie Nelson, Red-Headed Stranger. This album is just as good as Phases and Stages. It follows a storyline a little more concisely than Phases and Stages. And yeah, it's about a cowboy who loses his love, or some lady tries to steal his horse, and you know you don't steal a man's horse. You know, it's kind of those corny Western themes, but great album. And famously, when he turned in the tapes, the record label said, "Oh, these are great demos, man. We can't wait to, record the album." And he goes, "No, this is the album." All right, top 4. It's getting hot in here. Nazareth, Hair of the Dog, fantastic. These songs are so they're hard-hitting, well-written songs. The types of songs that Led Zeppelin used to write, Just fantastic. It starts off strongly with the cowbell. Doo, doo, doo. Hair of the Dog, that's fantastic. It gets a little, Love Hurts was another single off it. The original love ballad. I'm not a love ballad guy, really. I mean, it's not a bad song, though. It has some bluesy tinges, roots. But yeah, it's a good hard and heavy record. Now, hard and heavy rock records were a thing in the early 70s. And I don't think many have made my top 10s. Though I do like that genre. But yeah, this one here is a step above, man. It's a fantastic listen. Number 3. I would go as far as to say it's the best soul album from 1975. And it's David Bowie, Young Americans. The single was Fame with John Lennon on vocals and rhythm guitar. The song Young Americans has taken a life of its own, and it may be the most famous song on the album now. But it doesn't have a bad song on it. Really good, soulful vocals by Bowie. And kind of funky grooves, Fascination. Somebody Up There Likes Me, Right. I mean, I'm not going to name all the names. Great soul album. This may be the start of Bowie's wanker bro deep voice, where he thought he was going to be the new Frank Sinatra. My number 2 is Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run. Fantastic album all the way through. He's a great storyteller. And it's stories that most kids can relate to. I guess the UK kids have trouble with relating to this guy, at least some of the UKers. But yeah, man, it's fantastic, dude. She's the One, Meeting Across the River, man, tells a great story. Jungle Land. I mean, we're down in Jungle Land. But it starts off with Thunder Road. And just what a great story of a young couple. Just, we got to get out of here, man, you know? And number one, with a bullet, is Horses. I think this came out at the end of 75. This was probably my most played album in 1976. I just loved this album. Her version of Gloria is just, it's just a reimagination of the song. And then it has the reggae kind of Redondo Beach, which may be my favorite song on the album, man. It's just fantastic. And then you got Birdland that's just free floating, and it's just a great vocal delivery. It was different than anything else. The musicianship on it is great. And yeah, the number one record in 1975. Take care, everybody. Hey, I just got vaccinated. For all the people that think I'm an anti-vaxxer, right there, that was the tetanus vaccination. This was a pneumonia vaccination. And on this one, I got the shingles vaccination on this one. I don't know if you can see it. And I did get the COVID vaccination for everybody that claimed I'm an anti-vaxxer.